Hi, thanks for joining me. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine. I'm here with a live Sunday morning stamping session. So thanks for joining me this morning. Today I am going to feature two cards with the Forever Blossoms stamp set. This stamp set carried over from our January to June mini catalog, and I had not used it that much. I actually still have about half the stamps in the box that are unmounted. So the horror, right? So what I have for you today is two cards, and I'm doing a stamping retreat online this weekend. So I'm stamping at my house with about 40 something other like-minded people from across the country actually, so it's really fun. And in our goodie bag, we received a bunch of products from the Peony Garden Suite, so the designer series paper and some of the embellishments. So that was my inspiration for my card today, and for my two cards actually. And so what I'm gonna do is, I forgot to mount my stamp, so I'm just doing that really quick. So let's look at that suite. It's on pages 82 to 84 in the annual catalog. So it's really soft and feminine colors and pinks and grays. So I'm using the gems and the ribbon and the designer series paper. And I found out after, of course, I made these cards last night, that the ribbon is on back order until early August. So FYI on that, it will be available hopefully the week of August 10th. So let's see, I think I'm ready to roll. I'm gonna flip the camera down. So thanks for joining me, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you the two cards, one ink pad, Gray Granite, and two Stampin Blends colors, Petal Pink and Old Olive. So here we go, hold tight. Okay, so here are our two cards. I'm just gonna see if I can find myself live in my group to make sure I have a good view for you. And I gotta find my ink pad. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Petal Pink card base, this one here with the pink and the white. And what I did is I cut out the largest stitched rectangle dies, the one that's like the full size of the card. So you're gonna need a piece of Whisper White that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I had another Whisper White that is 2 by 3 1/4 for the other stitched rectangle die. And let me see if I can get this over a little bit so you can see better. So what I did is I just prepped a card packet and cut out all my pieces last night. I made about 15 cards yesterday in between all the presentations we've had. So it's been really great. So here's my little packet with all my pieces. And if you take any of my classes, either in person or to go, you'll know like I cut up all the pieces for you when you take my classes to go. If you're not on my mailing list, please let me know and I can add you. What I'm gonna do is just do our stamping first. So let's just do the little sentiment. That'll probably be easier. And it's this one. So I have my Gray Granite ink. And if you have other stamps or other ink pads, I should say, you could totally jazz this up to your liking. Okay, I'm just gonna flip over. I was thinking you could sponge the edges if you had the Petal Pink ink. That would be really pretty, but I'm not going to do that today because I want to stamp two cards. So I'm going to get rid of that sentiment, and I'm going to bring over the Cherry Blossoms die, and I have some scrap paper here. So here's the other cutout, and let me grab my Cherry Blossoms. I'm going to stamp the Cherry Blossoms twice. And they're going to go in an opposite angle. This card, I was inspired by the catalog actually on page 69 of the catalog. there's a card. Let me show you after I stamp. So I hope I can do this upside down. One is going to go towards the bottom and one towards the top. So it might not look exactly like the card sample. So I'm doing this upside down. It's a little bit, what am I doing here? So with larger stamps, I always ink upside down. And then I'm just going to turn and kind of come. So, okay, that looks pretty good actually. Okay, I'm going to close up my ink pad so I don't get ink in one of my projects by accident. And now what I did is I colored in with the Stampin Blends, but let me show you page 69 really quick of the catalog. This one has got tons of colors, and it's this card right up here, but you can kind of see how I got the overall design and the look. So this one's got too many colors. I wanted to stick with the Peony Garden colors, so I picked my Petal Pink Light Blend and my Old Olive Light Blend. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and kind of go over the artist lines, but I am going to leave a ton of white space. So the card in the catalog, I believe it's Magenta Madness, and they use the ink pads actually with the new water pencils to color, but I just thought since I had these colors and blends, this works out perfect. And it's just soft and feminine using the light. It's really super subtle and pretty. So I just loved the look of leaving the white space. And honestly, I'm going kind of fast and I might make a few mistakes and go outside the lines. That's totally okay. So I think I got all the pink. So now let's do the green. And for this, I honestly, because it's a little bit darker, let's just do the stems first. In some cases, I'm honestly barely touching. And then we'll come do some. So just, could probably take your time with the leaves. And if you have the dark and the light, you could add some more highlights. I'm not even going to do this. I want this to be kind of quick and simple. And I have another card to show, so I don't want to be on here all day because my retreat is happening right now. So I'm missing, I think, part of the Zoom coffee hour right now. So I got to see what's happening this morning. We already had one live at 9 o'clock, so I caught part of that before I was setting up for this. Okay, so I think I have my greens the way I want them, and then this could not be easier. I'm gonna layer on top, and why don't we just put it together since I'm about 90% of the way there. I hope you're having a great weekend. This has really filled my cup when I really needed to craft and relax this weekend. So what's great is we've had a bunch of live presentations and a bunch of recorded presentations, so you can kind of come and go. I got to take a walk yesterday, get my Starbucks. Then what I do is I have a piece of the ribbon that's going to go across and my sentiment. And actually, you know what? I'm going to restamp this later so it's a little better. So I put my ribbon on with some glue dots in the middle. I put my sentiment on with dimensionals, and then I cut my ribbons. And then what I did, let's add the gems actually, we can do that because that really won't interfere with what I'm going to do later. Actually, one of them will, but this one I added 3 of the clear gems. These are the elegant faceted gems. So I just picked up and put them 2 in the large ones in the flowers, the center of the flowers, and I'm going to put 1 on the sentiment later. So here's the final card, and let's move on to card number 2. This one, I had an old sample, and I believe it was from On Stage, and it was with the Forever Blossoms and the Parisian paper, the Parisian Blossoms paper that was in the January to June catalog, and I happened to find it and said, oh my gosh, that's such a cute card, but I want to recreate it with the Peony Garden. So first I'm going to stamp again. I'm using the Gray Granite ink pad, but I'm going to stamp on my designer series paper. So here's my packet of all my stuff. I have a, okay, let's stamp on the designer series paper, then I'll go over the measurements and everything. So again, I have some scrap paper, and I'm going to bring over my stamp and my ink pad. This is just great because you get 1 ink pad, 2 kind of different looks. So it's going to go off the paper slightly. So I'm going to put the stem off the paper slightly. Okay, that looks great. And then I'm going to color in with my Stampin Blends. So let's get this out of the way. No, we have to keep that there. So, very important tip. When you're coloring with your Stampin Blends, you always want to have paper underneath because it bleeds through. So just to protect my mat, I'm going to keep the scrap paper there. So again, I'm just going to do a quick color. I'm using the light Petal Pink Stampin' Blend. And it's so soft and it's so pretty, and it's on this kind of like geometric designer series paper, but it gives it a really pretty look. So if you try this technique, I would love to see your projects, whether it's this designer series paper or any that you have in your stash. Please share your projects with me. I would love to see what you're working on right now. Kind of excited because this week I'll have a 3-day holiday weekend, so hopefully that'll mean I can get some more stuff done. I'm still debating on what to do for my July classes. I have this crazy idea to actually start offering potentially some in person with only a few people in my gazebo, because I live in a complex that has a gazebo. So I was thinking even if I had some people over for an hour, we could stamp in the gazebo. It even has like the bench around it, so I would need to just bring out some tables. So stay tuned whether I'm going to try to set that up in July. I'm still kind of trying to debate. We seem to be in a good place in Massachusetts, but you just never know. Things are changing daily with this virus. And this weekend, I'm in a group with people from all over the country. So to hear different perspectives of what's going on in different parts of the country. We seem to be past the peak, but who knows? Okay, so I colored all the way in, whereas card number 1, I only kind of highlighted. So that looks great to me. I can get this out of the way. And let's assemble the other pieces of the card. So the designer series paper is 3x4. I do that a lot because then it cuts up your designer series paper evenly. And like I said, this was a layout from an On-Stage card. So I have a Gray Granite card base. I have to stamp the sentiment. I have a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 Petal Pink. I have a 2x4 Gray Granite for the sentiment. And then I have a 3.5-inch piece of ribbon. So let's do the sentiment. For this one, I picked the Always and Forever. So I normally cut 2-inch strips when I'm doing my punching, but for this, since I just wanted to do a packet and have it easy to show, I just did a 2x4 piece of Gray Granite. I'm gonna stamp in Gray Granite on, so Gray Granite cardstock and Gray Granite ink. Then I'm gonna punch out with the Timeless Label Punch. I guess it's wedding season, so these are great cards to have this time of year. I know I have a coworker that's local that was getting married on Saturday, so I'm not sure how that worked out, but that's kind of exciting that people are still... So see what I mean about having the scrap paper there, because the blends do bleed through a little bit, so just to protect your stuff. I am still getting used to the stamp and seal, but let me show you the tips that I've learned this weekend. So you kind of want to go slow and pull up to break the seal. So this is what I've kind of been doing. I really like to use snail on my designer series paper. So you might have to kind of roll it through if you get stuck, but I have been having luck with the stamp and seal. And I probably shouldn't have gone too much to the edge. I want to go at a diagonal here. Where's my sample card? Here it is. So here's my sample, and I kind of went on a diagonal. So be careful not to have your paper too close to the edge, and it's just a subtle diagonal. That looks great. And then what I'm going to do is stick on my ribbon, and again, this is a 3.5-inch piece. I'm going to cut the tails, and then I want my sentiment to go over the top. So let's just put the ribbon on with a few mini glue dots. I'm going to put, like, say 2 in the middle. So originally when I started doing videos, I was doing them on Tuesday nights, and I'd love to hear if you're tuning in, if you think a Tuesday night live, I would have to do at 7 o'clock, because once I'm back working in the office at some point, I have meetings sometimes on Tuesdays until 6, and sometimes I don't get out of there till 6:15 or so. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think if you're watching Tuesday night at 7 or Sunday morning at 10. Those are the only 2 real consistent times I have on my calendar. I'm going to put a whole lot of dimensionals on this guy. 6, 3, and 3. And then to finish it off, I'm going to add 3 of the Elegant Faceted Gems in the Petal Pink. Oops, one more. Okay, so let me get my gems and my Take Your Pick tool. I'm a very messy stamper this weekend. I have stuff all over this desk. I have stuff all over the kitchen table. So I'm going to put one kind of down towards the bottom. And I'm going to put 2 of the smaller ones over here. And then all I have to do is add to my Gray Granite card base. So I'll post all the measurements in this video. So you'll have all the measurements for both cards. I put this down towards the bottom corner. And I would love to hear if you have a preference of which card you like better. So I have, whoops, the first card we made in the Petal Pink card base with the Whisper White, and then this card here, which incorporates the designer series paper and the Petal Pink gems. So thanks so much for tuning in. I am going to be closing out my June host code tomorrow, and that's 979PFPXM. I'll post that below. Today I will be preparing make and take packets, so if you have placed an online order with me recently, you'll be getting those this week. It'll be 3 make and takes with the World of Good suite of products. I'll be posting a new host code on Wednesday, July 1st. So if you're not on my mailing list, please let me know and I can add you. Starting Wednesday, July 1st through August 3rd, Stampin' Up! Is bringing back the bonus days promotion. So what that means is for every $50 you spend before shipping and tax, you will get a $5 coupon to redeem, I should say. So you earn the coupon between July 1st to August 3rd, and then you have from August 4th to August 31st to redeem the coupons. So all the details will be out, and I'll share all the details starting on Wednesday, and hopefully in the next couple days I'll also be releasing the details on my July classes. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be down at my kitchen table stamping and joining the girls on the online retreat. So I'll see you back here next Sunday at 10 a.m.